Hey polished friends! I couldn't let June go by without showing off some pride nails, so I did some stamping over a tie-dye rainbow gradient. Keep watching, I'll show you. This month Maniology came out with a pride plate, and even though I had to look up what hunty meant, I love this plate. I can't decide if my favorite is the rainbow coming out of the closet or rainbow is my favorite color. I also really love the bottom images. Aside from the left one, I don't really know what that's supposed to be, but the BU, love is love, the paint can, it's all really cool. I would like to say I hope the pride won't stop here. I know a couple other companies have come out with one plate as well, but I think we need more than just one plate when it comes to pride. Alright, I'll get off my soapbox, and I have suited up with the base coat, so let's get started. Here I'm applying White on White by China Glaze as my base color. Whether doing a gradient or polishing your nails, using a base color of white underneath the neons is always the best choice to make those neons pop. With other colors, when doing a gradient, you can always use the lightest color as the base color and then just do the gradient with the darker color and the lighter color together over the lighter color. But when doing this with neons, it might be a gamble. It may come out great, or your neons might come out a little dull and not to their full potential. So it's completely up to you whether you use a white base color or not. In fact, some neons don't even need a white base color, so there's that. I think Kelly Marissa has a recent video about that. I did a little cleanup off camera, and I want to show you up close what I did, because it's going to make a difference on my gradient with the white not showing through around the edges, especially when I clean up the edges for the gradient, like after I do the gradient. So basically I just over cleaned up, so I recessed the cuticle line a little bit. It basically looks like my nails have grown out a little bit. You can't really see, but I did this on the sides as well. When doing a gradient, you want to have a barrier between the base color and what you're sponging on. So here I'm just adding a top coat. To create the rainbow tie-dye effect, instead of doing a linear gradient, I do what's called kind of a circular blobby gradient. Yeah, I'm sure that's the technical name. I also added water, just a little bit, to my sponge before starting, so it doesn't soak up so much of the polish. So what you can't see here is I'm just sponging on the polish in an up and down motion. Pretty cool. Gradients usually need a second coat, so that's what I'm doing here. To make cleanup easier, I removed the liquid latex that I didn't film putting on now, so that the gradient I just did doesn't dry while I'm stamping and cause an issue when I try to remove the liquid latex later. The gradient won't look its best until we add a top coat and it blends. So that's what I do here before I stamp. I chose a black stamping polish to stamp over the nails with because black would look the best and stand out the most over this gradient. To give this stamp a little depth, I did some reverse stamping with that heart. So that I don't pick up any of the lines that are there, I waited for it to fully dry. And I go outside the lines here, but with all the colors going on, I don't think it really matters. Here I'm just waiting for the polish to dry a little bit so it doesn't go all over the place when I stamp. And this image is the perfect size for my pinky nail. It looks like it's gonna be too big, but it fits perfectly. I finish it off with a smudge-free top coat, and I'm good to go. Here's the same gradient technique done on my ring finger. This time I'm using the image BU. I thought that one would look the best under or over a gradient. Another fun idea for this image would be to reverse stamp. How beautiful would that be? I remove the liquid latex and do a little bit of cleanup, if you can get underneath those little stragglers rather than just go over top of them, you'll get a lot less black onto your skin. It makes cleanup a lot easier. A layer of smudge-free top coat, and I'm done. The polish on my sponge has gotten dry, so I'm going to take my scissors and just cut off the top. I see other YouTubers do this, and it looks really easy. They just cut it off in one fell, easy swoop. It's not what's happening here. Really? Just, whatever. I got my sponge a little bit wet again and add all my blobs. You can't really tell here, but this time I'm trying to show you the rolling motion of the gradient, where instead of going up and down, you roll the sponge on your nail. Same effect, just a different way of getting there. And more blobbies going in for round 2. I really could have done maybe 3 or 4 layers. I think this mani would have popped more if I would have done 3 or 4 layers of this gradient, but I didn't want the colors to get muddled, so I stopped at 2. I do a little bit of cleanup here, and this is where the white would start to show if I hadn't recessed it so much in the beginning. You can actually see it on the side there, but I'm not too worried about that because the stamp is going to cover it up. And you can really see here how the top coat blends that gradient. Looks so much better after the top coat. And this is another image that would look absolutely adorable reverse stamped, so I might try that. I don't know, that I've got some color ideas already. And don't worry, that little fuzzy that you see on the stamper, it's actually on the other side of the stamp head, so it's not a problem here. That is so cute. I love it. And remove the liquid latex, a little bit of cleanup here, and my top coat. Last but not least, my index finger. I went ahead and rolled this one also, just so you could see it, but then I ended up dabbing it. I kind of messed up this gradient, I feel like, but I'll show you in a second. So this is my second layer, and I had a little bit too much polish on the sponge, but if that happens, you can always dab it on a piece of paper or a paper towel before you sponge it on your nail. But that's not even where I went wrong here. Yeah, that happened. I just didn't know when to leave well enough alone, and I kept dabbing and muddled the colors, so yeah. Luckily, the stamp I'm going to be using is just going to cover that up anyways, so I'm not too worried about it. Out of the whole mani, I think how this nail came out is my favorite, which is ironic since the gradient is the one I messed up. But that awful mistake disappears in 3, 2, 1. And here's the finished look. Yeah, right. Like I'm not gonna add a hollow top coat to this. I think the holo added some flair, even if I'm the only one that can see it. So here's the real final look. Although, on camera they both look the same. I'm sorry. If you like this video and want to see more, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And hit the little bell so you get notifications when a new video comes out. It all helps me grow. And I'll see you next time.